Hello. Welcome to Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go. I'm your host, Tara, and the founder of the blog Travel with TMc, which is where you'll find free destination guides, points and miles consulting for Canadians, a little bit of van life behind the scenes, and much more. Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go, is a fun and quirky show that delves into everything travel and adventure, whether from the road, in the air, or in between here and there. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen or watch. Yep, we're on YouTube as well. And leave a 5-star review or a thumbs up. Both of these quick and easy actions make a huge impact on the show being able to reach a wider audience. So thank you for your support. In season 2, my guests and I cover a wide range of travel topics. It's my hope with the show that you'll hear yourself and see yourself reflected in the guests and the conversations that are had. I also hope that you'll be inspired to try something new for people who travel in a way that you might not have considered before. This week on Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go, my guest is Kaila. She's a lifetime family friend and an absolute ray of sunshine in everything she does and is. Kaila is a rec therapist who lives in Toronto, Canada, and makes it her mission to travel both locally and internationally whenever possible, be that extended weekends or longer stints abroad when she was in university. On the podcast with Kaila, we talk about the life-changing impact on a young girl when her family would host international students. We also talk about her first solo trip as a 14-year-old to Colombia. Then we talk about how she got hospitalized in Thailand, the unusual things that she does with her phone when she's away, and traveling together with siblings as adults, a very unusual and super awesome thing that I would like to do more of with my siblings. She also goes into the 5 trips that she's taken on points and miles so far, and how she's been learning Finnish and Spanish. It's an awesome episode. You'll be smiling the whole way through, and I hope you enjoy. All right, let's dive in. Hi, Kaila!
Hello. Hi, Tara.
I'm so pumped to have you on Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go, season 2.
Woo!
For anybody who's just tuning in, Kaila and I go way back. Like you were a baby and I was a little toddler way back.
Yep.
Our moms grew up together and our families have been linked ever since. Kaila's family is one of the coolest and kindest and most wonderful families that I know. And I am so thrilled to have Kaila here today. Not only is she a great human, but she has some super awesome travel stories that I cannot wait to share with everybody or to have you share with everybody. So
Thank you.
thank you for being here. Yeah. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and where you're calling in from today?
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. A little bit nervous, but mostly excited. Um my name's Kaila. I think similar to Tara, I my name is frequently mispronounced, so it is not Kayla, but it is Kaila. And I am calling in from Toronto today. I'm a recreation therapist here. That's my 9 to 5. And yeah, I've been almost a lifelong traveler. I think I went on my first trip, family trip when I was 5, to Disney World in Florida. And have traveled ever since and just like really, really love and value travel. And I'm excited to talk about it today because it's one of my favorite things to talk about.
I think this is one of the reasons why you and I connect so much. Even though there's a little bit of an age gap, I feel like
Yeah.
you're a kindred spirit that way. So,
Yes.
yeah, definitely. Where did the travel bug come from for you? Because you talked about you were 5 and going to Disney, but like, was it that? Was it something else?
I think travel has just always kind of been a part of my life. Like when growing up, my parents signed our family up for hosting international students to stay with us for a couple months at a time. So we had students from Japan, from Russia, from Colombia, which was definitely eye opening. I mean, being from a small town, little old Midland, Ontario. Um, Shout out to Midland. Midland, Ontario, not the most culturally diverse place. And so I think it was, yeah, I really think that's kind of where it started. Like it started at least broadening my horizons of what else is out there in the world. And it was actually a relationship that I developed with one of the students that we had. She and her sister came and stayed with us. First when I was maybe about like 10 years old, and we got along really well. She fit in with the family. And then her younger sister actually came a few years later to stay with us because she had had such a good time with us and
Oh,
in Canada. And so it was her younger sister that we became like you said, like kindred spirits, and just like we really clicked. And her name's Anna Maria. And after she stayed with us, she actually and her family invited me to come visit them in Bogota, Colombia. So that was my first solo trip. I don't know.
that's
I
a
don't
big first solo trip.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know how I was able to convince my parents at the age of 14 to fly to Bogota, Colombia
Hold
on
up. This is
my
your parents are cool already, but when you were 14, that's when you went?
Yeah, yeah. And I've said that to them too. I'm like, "How were you okay with that?" And they said they're like, "Oh, well, you were mature and we were confident in you, and like we knew like Anna's family and that they were gonna meet you at the airport and everything." And so yeah. And that just kind of like I mean, yeah, at first like international, I mean, I guess Florida's international, but international.
Yep, I hear you.
You know what I mean.
For
Um
anybody who's listening internationally, we're Canadians, and
yes.
oftentimes we feel like the States is not quite an international destination.
Yeah.
It's too close.
Exactly. Um, but yeah, that just, like, really, like, ignited my love for travel, and I've been very, very fortunate and privileged to do a lot of travel since then.
Super cool. So your upbringing has, like, definitely impacted your interest in travel and where you go and what you do.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Actually, and just quickly too, my auntie Mare, has also been a really big influence as well, because she always talked about her backpacking travels throughout Europe when she was I think she was 17, if I'm remembering correctly. But just how much travel she always did, and I've always looked up to her, and so that was definitely an influence as well. And yeah, my parents have also just always encouraged travel and that it's so important. So I've been really, really grateful for that.
Amazing. What were family trips like for you guys growing up? Because, like, the world doesn't know your family like I know your family, but your family's fun. Like, you guys are so much fun. What were family trips like growing up?
So for context, there's my mom and my dad, and then I'm the youngest of three. So I have a brother, Chris, who is 5 years older than me, and then we have a sister, Britt, who is 9 years older than me. So there is quite a gap between us. So I mean, growing up, trips definitely were, I don't know, they look different than they do now, which I'm sure we're going to talk about a little bit. But yeah, we as a family we did a lot of like car travel. So we traveled to the States. We drove to Florida. I don't know how many times, maybe like 4 or 5, going to different places in Florida. Hitting up the amusement parks. We're a big roller coaster family. And also like camping in Ontario, just car camping. Yeah,
Like
that's pretty.
provincial parks kind of thing, or
Yeah. I can't. We went to Killbear. That's really the only one I'm remembering right now, but yeah.
yeah, fair
Lots
enough.
of car travel. But, yeah, I mean, so sometimes it was in a van, so we had more space as a family, tall family of
That's
5.
true. You guys are, yeah.
For context, we're all around 6 feet tall. Um
Or taller.
Yeah. There was a lot of room in the van, but then there was 1 or 2 times where we traveled, the 5 of us, and, I think it was a Buick LeSabre, so it was just a sedan and the 5 of us.
Legends.
Yeah, yeah, drove, so that was quite an experience too, but bonding.
Yeah. Honestly, road trips are the best for bonding. It's yeah. When was the first international trip as a family, and where did you go? Again, outside of the States. Like, where was that with the 5 of you?
You
Was
know
that
what?
big when you
I
went?
don't think that we ever have all 5 of us traveled outside of North America. I've traveled with my mom to Finland, our mother country, and with that was with, some other family members too, like cousins and stuff. And then I've traveled, yeah, with my siblings, just the 3 of us, internationally, but yeah, never the 5 of oh, no, yeah, no, never the 5 of us.
Okay, and we didn't talk about this beforehand. I didn't give you the heads up on this, but again, for people who are just tuning in and don't know Kyla personally, Kyla and her siblings travel together as adults. Like they go on fun sibling trips. So I'm putting it out there. Chris, Britt, Kyla, if you guys want to come on and do like a group pod, I'd freaking love that. It's so unusual for adult siblings to do that and to make the time and to enjoy each other's company. It
Yeah.
yeah. Anyhow, I'm putting it out in the universe.
I think that would be fun, that would
I
be fun.
good, good. Okay, cool. Um, so I guess, like, coming into the present a little bit more then, how do you choose to where to travel now? You're fresh off of your first weekend trip away. You've traveled internationally, you've traveled within Canada and the States. Like, how do things make it onto your list of where to go and what to check out?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, like, word of mouth and, like, the people in my life who I know love to travel as well, like, I really value their opinions and their experiences and hearing about them. Um But yeah, my travel, like, kinda mindset has changed over the years because I've done a lot of solo travel, and, like, when I was in university, my university days, um, I traveled for long periods at a time, like, I was in, Thailand for 2 months, I was in South America for 7 months, I was in Argentina yeah, and for another trip for 2 months, and so I just always had it in my mind, like, well, I can only travel is only worth it if you can go for, like, an extended period of time, but as an adult, as a full-fledged adult, I've had to learn that that's not feasible. And it's actually your mom, who I remember saying when I was in Waterloo and she took me under her wing, I remember her saying that in life you only you have money or time, you never have both at the same time, and it's so true. It's so true. That is stuck with me and has always comes up. I'm like, "Gosh, she was right." But anyway, so yeah, I really had to, change my mindset and be okay with going for shorter periods of time and realizing that that's just as valuable. Like, yeah, like you said, I just went on my first weekend trip. It was 3 days in Banff, Alberta, and it was actually another friend who had inspired me to do that. She went. She's also a big nature lover like myself, and she said, "Kyla, like, you gotta do it. It like 3 days doesn't seem like it's a lot, 3 or 4 days doesn't seem like a lot, but it is enough, especially because you're so intentional when you have such a short amount of time, and I know, yeah, you've done some short quick travels too, and, it's really opened my eyes. I'm like, "Okay, we can do this."
Cool, cool. I love
Yeah.
that. Amazing. There's so many things I wanna get into too about how you we'll get there, we'll get there. Do you enjoy traveling alone? Like, I know that you've done some of these big trips, you've lived abroad, which we'll touch on in a little bit. You've traveled with siblings, you've traveled with family, with your partner, so on. Do you like traveling alone? Do you prefer to travel with others? Does it depend on the kind of trip that you're doing?
I think I like a mix of both. I definitely have enjoyed my solo travels. I think simply for the freedom, like you do literally whatever you want when you want. But it can also get really lonely, like really lonely, especially if it's for an extended period of time. And like I've experienced that on each of the long trips that I've gone on. That yeah, it gets lonely. Um And I'm just, yeah, so thankful for technology to be able to connect me back to family and friends when I'm feeling like that, but, yeah, no, I think I like a mix of both. Like, when I was in Thailand, I traveled by myself for a month and a half, but then at the end, my brother Chris came to join me for the last 2 weeks, and that was so nice and such a nice way to end that adventure too. So I think I like both.
Nice. Do you have any travel traditions, whether it's something that you do before you leave or while you're on the road or something that you do when you come home around the travel that you've just had?
I think I don't know. I think, I mean, I guess a new kinda tradition is making a little reel, highlight reel.
Which you're so
Um
good at.
Thank you. I really enjoy it. It's like it's definitely a form of, like, creative expression for me as well. But it also I find like, I love taking photos as well, but I find, like, little snippets of videos, it just, like, it's different. You get, like, more of a feel for the trip, in that way. So I guess that's kind of a new tradition. A tradition that I used to do that I don't do as often anymore, but whenever I would come home, I would always get Tim Hortons. I would always right at the airport, I would get a vanilla dip donut and, I don't know, maybe a coffee or something. Um, yeah, no, I can't think of anything else more concrete than that.
Yeah, no worries. Side note, I'm always wondering how you get your real ideas because they're so fun, and I'm like, "I need to steal this idea. I'm saving your reels all the time to replicate them, and I never do, but I should because they're fantastic. They always make me smile."
Aw, thanks. It's very fun. I really yeah, it's very fun. It's, like, exciting to, like, "Okay, we gotta we" yeah, because 'cause I've done it with Roxy now, the yeah, you know. Um, but, yeah, it's exciting to remember to take these little snippets so that we can then, at the end of the trip, or experience, kind of sew it all together.
Yeah. Did the pandemic affect any of your travel plans at all? And if so, what was that like?
Mm. I mean, not past what everyone felt that we were just kinda, like, landlocked, right? I was, yeah, fortunate I didn't have anything planned, um and I think it actually kind of had a positive impact on me in that I learned to find what was in my own backyard. And, like, I really especially in that first year, I really connected a lot with nature and, like, going on little day trips and just, like,
Mhm.
going to High Park in Toronto and, yeah, just stuff that was local, which I had never taken the time to do before because oh, I can do that later, I can do that later.
Yeah. Yeah, I can so relate to that. And it's very like you to see the positive in a situation as well. Flipping that though, I'm curious to know, have you ever missed a flight or had any scary experiences on your trips?
Um, no, I thankfully and knock on wood, I've never missed a flight. I've run for a flight, a couple of times, but I've always made it, luckily. Um, I guess maybe the scariest thing, that I've experienced is when I got dengue fever in Thailand.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah, so this thankfully was at the end of my 2-month adventure. And yeah, when my brother and I had connected and were traveling together. So we were traveling through southern Thailand and kind of island hopping, checking out all the beaches and everything. And there was one hostel that we stayed at that was super cool. It was a hostel in, like in and amongst, like, trees, like, it was like a treehouse hostel,
Do
and
you
so,
remember
yeah,
the name of it?
super pardon?
Do you remember the name of it so I didn't
Not
interrupt?
off the top of my head, but I'll look it up to let you know,
Yeah.
although I
Oh,
think
yep,
that's where
maybe not a
I
recommendation.
think I think that's where I got the dengue, so
Okay.
because it was all outside, there were, like there yes, there was mosquito netting, but, like, there were definitely holes in it, and, like, I remember waking up full of mosquito bites, but felt fine, more other than being itchy, but then it was, like, a few days later that I had, just gotten back to Bangkok. I had a couple days left before I was to fly home, and I was out at the floating market, just outside of Bangkok, and I was like, "Something's not feeling right."
Oh,
Like,
no.
just started, yeah, feeling, like, woozy and nauseous and just, like, not well, and so I rushed back to the hostel, and it was my parents who, like, urged me after I don't know. I don't even know how long it was, but they were like, you should probably go to a hospital." And so I went to a hospital in Bangkok, which was actually an amazing experience, I will say. I will say it was like staying in like a five-star hotel. Like it was the nicest hospital I've ever seen in the world.
Okay.
Um but yeah, and actually I left against medical advice because my flight home was, like, scheduled for the next day, and they were like, we think you should probably stay for a little bit longer to make sure you're, like, stable." And I was like, "Nah, get me the F out of here. I'm going home."
My God. Okay, so for anybody who hasn't had dengue fever, what does that look like? And, like, treatment, and how is that flight home?
Yeah, so, I mean, I just like, it was like felt like the worst kind of flu I've ever had, so just, yeah, like, high fever, shakes, just feeling, like, so weak, nauseous, vomiting, like, anything you can think of, that's what you get. And the treatment was, I think it was just well, like, just a pain reliever and, like, to help bring the fever down, and then just IV fluids, to keep me hydrated, and honestly, I don't remember too much of the flight home.
Maybe that's for the best.
Yeah, 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 I was really disappointed, though, because I had a layover, quite a like, maybe a 20-hour or something layover in Beijing, and so I was supposed to do this quick little, like, day tour to the Great Wall.
Oh,
They were gonna pick me up at the airport, bring me to the Great Wall, I was gonna see it, do it, and then come back and then go home, and so I had to cancel that, so that was really disappointing.
bummer.
But then, yeah, it took me a couple weeks to recover from dengue, so, 10 out of 10, do not recommend.
Noted. Have you ever fallen in love on a trip? Side note, I love your boyfriend, he's amazing, but are there any other stories?
Yeah, so when I was in Argentina in high school, I did an exchange program with the Rotary Club, um and, so I was in Argentina in this small town for 2 months staying with a host family, and I went to school, with my host sister, not for, like, any credit or anything, it was just for the experience, but one of the other students and a friend there, yes, I've had a mad crush for. His name was Fede, short for Federico.
Love
And
it.
like, that's when I was learning Spanish, but he spoke really good English, and so that definitely helped too.
Solid, solid. Love a little love story on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
Speaking of Argentina, so you and I are both polyglots and we share Spanish as an additional language of ours. Like,
Mhm.
where and when did you start learning Spanish? Was that because of travel? Was that in school? Why Spanish?
So, it was also thanks to, the girl I mentioned before, Anna Maria, who came to stay with us. Um I remember really, like, in high school well, and in school in general, I really enjoyed learning French, but then when when Anna Maria came along, she started to teach me a little Spanish, and I was like, "Ooh, I kinda like this better than French because
Yeah,
it's so much easier." Like,
it is.
the French definitely helped, like, having that base of knowledge, but Spanish I definitely find easier, and I just love the sound of it and everything, and so That was my exposure to it, and then, when I did the exchange in Argentina, I actually didn't choose Argentina, I just applied to this program, and they were like, "Okay, you're going here." I was actually supposed to go to Brazil, but then, that got changed to Argentina, and so, yeah, then I was learning Spanish in Argentina. I had borrowed a, like, Spanish 101 textbook from someone that I knew, to, like, kinda teach myself along the way, and then, obviously, immersion is the best way to learn a language. And so, yeah, I became pretty decent after 2 months in Argentina, I will say, and then I ended up loving it so much that I decided to do a minor in Spanish in university. Nothing to do with my major, but so it was nice to have that opportunity to do that. Um, and then knew that I wanted to go back to South America, and so used that Spanish minor to do a semester in, Santiago, Chile, where I, like, really, honed my skill.
I will never forget, and I don't know why this sticks with me, but I forget if it was while you were there or when you came back and you were saying before you went to Chile, you felt like you had a decent grasp on Spanish, and then you know where I'm going with this, and then when you were there, you were like, "I don't even know if I know Spanish anymore, I don't understand what's going on," and it was it because the, like, endings of the words get dropped there? So you're, like, waiting for the rest of the word to come, but they're already on to the next thing? Yeah, you're shaking your head.
Yes, yes, that's so funny. Wow, I haven't thought of that in so long. You just brought that memory back, but it's so true. I felt like, yeah, like, pretty confident, at least with, like, a basic level of Spanish, but I felt like I was starting from ground zero, because, yeah, I mean, all throughout South America, and the world, like we do in English, there's different accents and dialects and things. And so, yeah, I think Chileans are known for their, yeah, unique, unique accent and pronunciation of things. Yeah, because it was, so I think I had been in Santiago for a couple months by this point, and I went on, like, all of the international students. We went on a weekend trip to Mendoza in Argentina, and I remember just the relief I felt being like, "Oh my god, I actually can understand Spanish. I understand so much more than I realized." It was a good, morale booster.
Yeah, definitely. And you okay, so you grew up learning French in school, then tacked on Spanish, but you speak some Finnish as well, or no? No, okay, I didn't
No,
know
I
because not many
like,
of you there speak, right? Some?
yes, they do. They can, yeah, for sure, and we always curse them. My siblings and cousins, we always curse them for never teaching us,
Oh,
um, because it's a very hard language to learn. Like, my cousin Callum and I, we took one semester, we took a, like, Finnish 101 here in Toronto,
nice.
together as, like, an extracurricular thing, and it was hard. It was really hard. So I know, like, very, very basic words and phrases, but that's it.
Yeah, do you have any favorite words or phrases in any of the languages that you know?
Yeah, there's one in Spanish, vale la pena.
Do you wanna
So,
translate?
yeah, translating to, like, it's worth the struggle, worth the pain.
Yeah.
And I actually used that a lot this past weekend, and when we were in Banff, and hiking, like,
Oh, yeah.
just it was a tough hike, and I just kept repeating to myself, "Vale la pena, vale la pena." And it did. It was worth it. It was worth it in the end. But yeah, that's definitely one that I learned in my travels that has stuck with me.
Cool. Do you use any of your language skills in the workplace, like as a rec therapist?
Yes,
Especially living in
yes.
Toronto.
Yes, and that's one of my favorite parts of the job too, is being able to practice all different kinds of languages. Sadly, not enough Spanish. There aren't a lot of Spanish speakers that come into my environment, but I've been learning more and more Italian, which is fun, which is very,
I
very
love
fun.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Italian, I know, and I know how to say hello in like a lot of different languages because yeah, it's a very multicultural population that I work with. So it's very fun.
Amazing. What do you do when there's a language barrier, whether you're on the road or at work? Like, what's your go-to way to muddle through it?
I mean, I feel like classically Google Translate. It's really good. If I have access to that,
Yeah,
and if not, then love me some charades. Those it's always good.
I feel like that would be very entertaining to watch.
Yes, or if it's one of the romantic languages,
Yep.
I will try and, like, take from what I know in Spanish and, like, put a French spin on it or put an Italian spin on
Yeah.
it and try. I'm like, eh, because sometimes it works, sometimes it works.
I love it.
Mhm.
Speaking of tech, so it's 2025. It's April 2025 for whenever people are listening to this episode. And we're living in this like wild, crazy, unbelievable time of technological proliferation and AI and all these other things going on. And I'd love to know like your thoughts and opinions on travel and technology and that dance between the two. Like, how has tech changed the way that you travel?
Yeah. Um, I mean, before I because I mentioned that I really love to take pictures, and so I used to travel with, like, a DSLR and like, a Canon, like, just, like, a little, like, point and shoot,
Point and shoot, yeah.
um
Which are trendy now, by the way. How is this a thing, and how are they like a retro anyhow, I'm dating moving on, but, like, I see people with them in an ironic sense, and I'm like, "No."
But just, going on this tangent for a second, I
Yeah.
kind of like it, because I don't know, because I feel like we've become so tethered to our phones,
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
so it's kinda nice to have, like, a
But
camera again,
yes.
but it's funny, I do agree how it's just like, how has it come back? For
I
sure.
I think I'm just more ornery that it's showing my age than anything, but, like, yes, let's go there.
So, yeah, I used to travel with cameras, plural, but now I only travel, like, with my phone because the camera is just so good and it's just so, like, bulky to carry all this other stuff. Plus, I feel like it has, like, kinda puts a target on your back too, a little bit, if you're especially if you're carrying around multiple cameras. Anyway, so yeah, definitely, the phone in general is just like such a very, very useful travel tool. But I'm also super duper cautious when I'm traveling to not be on my phone like all the time and only using it when I absolutely need it. And like when I'm going yeah, outside of Canada, I guess. Like I'm not buying like a roaming plan or anything like that. I understand that sometimes people have to, like for whatever, work or emergency or stuff, but I find that it just really helps to keep me present and in the moment to like just not have constant access to my phone.
I love that you do that.
I so the first time I got like an eSIM was when David, my partner, and I went to Italy a few years ago. But I got like the very like basic plan and I only turned it on when we like absolutely needed it. So I had it as like an emergency backup. But did not use it, yeah, frivolously. Because I kind of like the ritual of being out all day, taking pictures, just yeah, being in the moment, and then coming back to the hostel or the hotel at the end of the day, and it's kind of like you get to reflect on the day and like look through stuff, and maybe that's when you're posting on Instagram, and that's kind of a reflective process as well for me. Um, yeah.
You just keep on getting cooler. You're inspiring me. Prep wise with tech, what do you do to prepare for your travels? Are you into the blogs, the podcasts, the YouTube, social media, guidebooks, talking to people? What's your shtick?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely changed over the years too. Definitely, always used to love a good Lonely Planet guidebook. But I've definitely moved away from that now with the vastness of the internet, and the ease of AI, like ChatGPT. I've started. I'm sorry. I've started.
I
I've
retract
started.
my previous statements. No, I'm just joking.
I've started I've started using it just as, like, kind of to narrow things down a little bit, to give me, like, a bit of a skeleton, and then I will go into the blogs and, like, kind of and YouTube as well. I do like, being able like, I'm a very visual person, and so being able to see people's, like, vlogs and kind of like, "Oh, you should go here or go here," like, especially for tips too, for places like do's and don'ts, I rely heavily on YouTube for sure.
Very cool, very cool. And we touched on, you're documenting a little bit. You love to take photos and you love to do the reels and such. Are you a writer at all as well? Or I feel like you usually have pretty thoughtful captions. You're shaking your head
Well,
no.
so I guess I'm a writer in the sense that, yeah, like, when if I'm posting something on my Instagram, yes, I'll write something there, but I don't really do it outside of that. Like, I would really, really love to be a travel journaler, like, just for myself, but I'm always too tired by the end of the day, and I just, like, I don't do it. So I've
I
just
get
accepted that
yeah,
about
yeah,
myself,
yeah.
and instead, I kind of treat the, like, taking pictures as like a photo journal of sorts. And just on that note, I feel like there's such a fine line too between taking, like, enough pictures, but like, also being present and, like, just letting it all soak in too. So that's something I'm always, um, n struggling, that's not the right word.
Dancing with.
Dancing, yeah, yeah, I like that,
Yeah.
dancing with.
It's like that shimmy reel right now that's going
Yeah,
around.
yeah. For sure. And, like, even yeah, it's a constant dance because, like, in Banff, like, everything was just so beautiful, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to take a picture of this and of this and of this," and I there were multiple times where I was like, "Kaila, stop it. Just be in the moment. You already have a picture of this," and often the picture isn't even as good as the real thing, so anyway.
True, true. Transitioning a wee bit, I think this is a bit of a conversation you and I have had in the past off the podcast, but um, impacts of travel is an interesting topic in these experiences, and often it's a two-sided coin that's I f I feel like a lopsided conversation in North America because we talk about how it personally impacts us and the benefits that we receive personally. So I wanna start on that side, but then I wanna shift to the other side of the coin as well,
Yeah.
especially because I know that you're, like, a very conscientious person and considerate of others. So let's start with, like, we've touched on it a wee bit, but how has travel impacted your life positively or negatively or, changing the trajectory of
Yeah.
things for you?
Yeah. Um, so when I was applying for that exchange program with the Rotary Club, I remember my dad, helping me write it, kind of get wordsmithing a little bit, with me being, yeah, a wee teenager, and him just this one phrase really stuck with me that he said, and, it was asking me something like, "Why, yeah, why do I want to travel, or why do I wanna do this?" And he suggested putting, to expand my global horizons. And I mean, those were just some fancy words at the time that that looked good on an application, but it's very, very true and has come true. Like, it just I don't know, you see when you travel and to places that are, like, very different from where you live and have grown up, you just see that, like, there's so many different ways to live and to be happy, and that also, like, especially coming from North America too, like, I think we kind of grow up thinking that we need all so many things in order to be happy, but like then you travel to places where they have like so much less and they're like maybe even happier than you. And so you kind of learn like you don't need all that other stuff. Like you just need, I don't know, yeah, connection with people, um to enjoy yourself, to have joy in your life in general, do things that make you happy. Yeah, I think that's that.
Yeah, definitely. Has there been, anything, and maybe that's one of the things, has there been anything in your travels or in your time living abroad, times living abroad, where you've either surprised yourself or a place has really surprised you?
Um, I think, the first thing that's coming to mind here is, when I was in Santiago, Chile, and so I had been to Argentina already and had done my 2 months there, and that was a number of years before that, and, like, I had such a love, for Argentina, for the country, and also for the people and the culture, like, it's just such a warm, really warm culture, and so I was very naively was like, "Oh, well," because I only had, I c in so I knew I wanted to go back to South America for my semester abroad, um, but the only spot that was available was in Santiago, Chile, and so I was like, "Oh, it's fine, it'll be exactly it'll be exactly like Argentina." No, that's so silly. That's like I mean, now I know that's silly to think like that just because it's on the same continent that it's gonna be the same. But it was different, and, I think yeah, it was different in that, like, it's, a more reserved culture, and, like, they're not as, like, as kinda warm and welcoming to strangers, and, like, that's fair, but it was just, like, a mismatch of my expectations, and so I did really I did struggle, in Santiago, Chile, and, I just, yeah, remember just feeling really, like, disappointed. I was like, "Oh, like, I just wanna be in Argentina." And I mean, once I kinda got past that, I definitely grew to love Santiago as well and Chile, and, like, again, meeting people there too, and getting to know people really helped, but yeah, that was definitely a surprise, when I traveled.
Yeah, that's such a good point that you make. I like how you phrased it, a mismatch of expectations.
Yeah.
Because I find oftentimes before we go somewhere, we do have expectations and hopes for what it will be, and, oftentimes it cannot be the trip itself that's disappointing, but our expectations not being met.
Yes,
That is
yes.
the, I guess, issue for lack of a better word.
Yeah, that's definitely a lesson that I took away from that experience was to not, like, not go in with no expectations, but just, like, be have an open mind, have an
Yeah,
open mind, and realize that, yeah, the a country is not gonna be the same
right.
as yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, definitely. Are there any skills that you've honed from your experiences abroad that, you continue to use or you didn't think were skills that you would gain or yeah.
I mean, I talked about it a little bit, but my skill of speaking Spanish, that definitely has come in handy and comes in handy, especially when I travel too. Like I definitely have a bias to want to travel to Spanish speaking countries because it's just so fun to be able to use it. And I always like it feels like I feel really good when I can use it when I'm traveling with like my family or a partner and they're just like, "Whoa."
It's a good little ego boost, eh?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, definitely that, and then also just my, like, directional skills in general.
Okay.
Definitely strengthened through travel. Because, yeah, when you're traveling, you're constantly lost, and so you're kind of forced you're forced to figure it out and to figure out tools and ways to do that, so, yeah, I definitely have travel to thank for both of those.
Do you find 'cause, maybe I'm, like, projecting how I feel when I'm abroad, but do you find because you're more alert maybe when you're in a different place and figuring it out, like, that helps to tie and I mean, you're not using the internet as well, so you have to
Yeah.
Rely
I
on to get
mean,
strategy.
so just, to clarify, like, I do, um like, Google Maps, you don't I'm
Offline.
yes, you don't I know you know that that you don't have to be connected to the internet, but I love that still, like, the GPS feature still works, and so, like, I'll download the map or, like, have it on, like, I am using that, but even still, like, learning my, like, north and south and east and west and, it's all yeah, it's all been very, very helpful to learn through travel.
Bit of a side tangent here, but you mentioned north, south, east, and west. Like, as a culture shift for me when I moved to Toronto, and I don't know if you felt the same, everybody in Toronto gives directions north, south, east, and west, and, like, I knew what those things were beforehand, but in
In
KW, we're at a
practice,
place.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't give directions that way. We're like, "Go left here, do this here, yada, yada," but then they're talking about the north side of the street and the south side. Did you find that when you moved to Toronto as well? Yeah, it's
Yes.
you're, like, shaking your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the same. And I think it's so much easier to do in Toronto because it's such a like a more of a grid than
Yeah.
I mean, especially KW
No.
because I've lived there too. It's like the roads go like
I
this.
think a drunk person designed the roads in KW, and it's not getting any
Yeah.
better right now, but anyhow. Um, are there any types of travels that you haven't tried yet that you'd like to, and why haven't you tried them yet, or why do you want to give them a go?
Mm. I really love the idea of, like, a guided tour, like, just, like, some actually, like, something that your mom does.
Yeah.
Um
Happy tours! That's
Woo,
season
woo,
1.
woo.
I'll link
Uh,
that below.
a little plug there.
Yeah.
But truly, because I mean, being a working professional full time, while planning for a trip is very exciting, it's also can be very exhausting and overwhelming as well. And so I love the idea of just like signing up for something and just showing up and letting
Yep,
them do everything. And I mean, I haven't done that as of yet because of it's expensive. And
yep.
I've been a very, frugal traveler, up until more recently, but, yeah, would love me a guided tour.
Cool. Alrighty.
And also, actually, something that's in the works is, like a mini Euro trip as well. I've always wanted to do, like, a Euro trip, and again, how I said that I used to think that it had to be for an extended period amount of time. Now that I am in the mindset that it doesn't have to be that long, that's why I'm calling it a mini Euro trip. But I'm thinking this year I'm gonna go to like London, England, and then go to Paris and then Amsterdam.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's in the works.
Love it. Oh, I can't wait to hear more about that. Okay, so flipping to the other side of this
Mm,
conversation,
mhm.
mm, I'd love to know how you approach the way that um, your presence, your experience in another place impacts that place and those people that you're visiting. Like, what do you how does that look for you, or is that something that you consider? And yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I like first and foremost, I always want to be respectful of a place that I'm traveling to. Like I'm I'm a visitor there. And yeah, I just want to be respectful. So what does that look like? I mean, I always learn like hello, at least hello and thank you in like the language of the country that I'm going to, because I feel like that always goes a long way, like not assuming that just like everyone speaks English. Because that is a really big pet peeve of mine when I hear other travelers being like, "Oh, they don't even speak English." I'm like, "No, you don't
Yeah.
speak their language. You are in their country."
Yeah, I'm so with you on that. That's one of my biggest travel pet peeves.
Huge, 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 huge. So always make sure to do that. And also, along with respect and yeah, um, just like a smile goes a long way too. Like just being a positive presence in their country. And always, like, I like to look up like customs before going too. Like when I was in Thailand, they said when we went into any sort of temples or anything to have our shoulders covered, and like it's like and legs too. And like it's hot. It's hot in Thailand, so like that wouldn't have been like a thing that I would just do naturally. But out of respect, I made sure that I knew that and did that. Um yeah, and just not being an a-hole. Which
As
is,
you say that so sweetly as well.
well, I don't think I can swear on this podcast.
Go for it. I think Paula dropped a couple in her episode.
Just not being an asshole. Like just being respectful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like and actually something that just came to mind too, like when I'm at like an artisans market or something, like not haggling so much. Like these people like put a lot of work into their art and to these things that they're selling to us. And so like it just like I was brought up being like, oh, get the best price. But I don't really like identify with that anymore because it feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Fair enough.
They
Awesome.
they they get what they deserve.
Yeah. 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 All good things to consider.
Yeah.
Um, so you've lived abroad once, would you say, or a few times, would you say? Because your extended stays, like, how would you?
I would say 2, I guess, yeah, like Argentina, like short-term living abroad, yeah, 2 months in Argentina, during high school, and then in university, I was in South America for 7 months, 5 of those months being in, Santiago, Chile.
And so with the live abroad experiences and maybe also your travel experiences, is there anywhere that you've been like, "Oh my god, I could live here longer term?" Whether that longer term is like a year, couple years, or life, I feel like
Yeah.
it's kinda temporary, but has there ever been a place where you've been like, "Wow, this feels like a place I could make home?"
Yeah, I don't think anywhere but Canada long term. Um, but I've definitely like traveling to Italy a couple years ago. Oh boy, I I really love that place a lot. And like I want to go back so badly and think it would be really fun to live there, even like temporarily, like maybe like 6 months to a year. Again, for like the language piece as well, like immersing myself in a culture, I think would be really fun and challenging. I've also thought, like, when I was younger, I really wanted to live in New York City for like for 6 months to a year, again, just short term. I don't know that I would do that now, but that definitely was something. And then thirdly, another place I thought that it could be fun to live is in Finland, in Helsinki. Like I
How's
don't, yeah, I don't know the language at all, as I mentioned, but maybe I would if I lived there. And yeah, for context, have a Finnish background. My mother was born there, and we were brought up with a lot of Finnish culture, and so I just think it would be really neat to live there for a little bit.
super cool. Super, super cool. I don't even know if I realized that your mom was born there. I think I just assumed that she was born in the Sioux, but that's super neat.
Yeah, yeah. When she was one, they moved to Sault Ste. Marie, and then my aunt was born in the Sioux. But yeah, she was born there.
Kick ass.
Hmm.
Is there anything that you do when you're abroad that you don't do when you're at home?
Like, pack my schedule full, like every Uh, there's some sort of like travel adrenaline that runs through us, I think, when we're traveling. It's just like you want to make the most of the trip. You want to see everything, do everything. And it always amazes me, especially in these last few years of going on shorter trips, like how much you can pack into one day. It is wild. It's wild. And then how long the trip feels because of that too.
Yeah.
So just jam packing, and it kind of like puts I don't know, yeah, put some time into perspective too, because then you realize, like, at home, you can do a little bit more too. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Um, no, I think that's it. I think that's really the biggest thing that I do differently.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think it's kinda similar to people who have kids, and they're like, "I get so much more done now. How did I not do this beforehand?" Or
Like,
what.
with kids?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, like because they have to squeeze things in or make things like,
True.
the intention has to be there,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas if we have all the time in the world, we're like, I'll get to it at some point," and then we don't, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah. This word has come up a few times, but what does home mean to you? And how do you create home when you're somewhere else?
I think, yeah, home, and this is maybe a little bit cheesy, but it's, more of like who I'm with than, like, where I am. So, I mean, home is definitely with my partner, David. And so as long as I'm with him, yeah, feel like I'm home. Although I will say that when we were traveling together in Italy, we both really missed our cat, Trudy. So maybe it's wherever David and Trudy are.
Package deal.
Yeah. And if I'm traveling without David, then it's connecting with him, like, through our phones, just doing video calls and just sharing pictures and stuff with each other.
Nice.
Love technology for that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. This just came to me right now. I don't know if you can relate to this at all. I don't feel like I've ever been homesick. And I think that that's because I've always had Skype or phone, like WhatsApp or whatever else. Like, I I don't have to go any period of time without connecting with family or friends because of tech, and for that reason, like, anytime I've lived abroad or traveled extensively,
You've never once felt homesickness?
never felt homesick. There have been a couple times where, like, there are things that I've missed, but it's I wouldn't call it homesickness?
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
Maybe
definitely
I'm missing
have
the point of what homesickness is then.
I definitely, no, I've definitely experienced homesickness. Yeah, when I was in Santiago and going through the
Right.
realization that it was not what I was expecting, I definitely felt some there. And it's just, I guess it just feels like just a longing to, like I just wanted to go home. Just wanted. I mean, at that time, yeah, I wasn't with David, so home was with my family, my parents, and so, I mean, yeah, technology definitely helped with that, like connecting with them. Um, and, like, I remember my sister sent me, like, a little care package too, which was, like, so nice and definitely helped. But I remember too feeling just, like, a smidge of homesickness when I was in Thailand, and I think it was because of, like, the length of the trip too.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and if you're going through a low mood or anything, then that certainly doesn't help. Luckily it's short-lived, but yeah, I've definitely experienced it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, what's the weirdest place you've slept?
Um, I mean, maybe a toss up between the treetop hostel that I was talking about where I got dengue. There weirdest and coolest simultaneously, or like a small little sleeper train also in Thailand. But I was definitely too big for the I was definitely too big for it, but I slept there, and I
I
remember it being, like, this skinny too, so not only, like, short in length, but also just being, like, narrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you been to Vietnam yet? I forget.
No.
Okay. So the I think similar thing to that is in Vietnam, they have these, like, overnight buses that you can take, and
Mhm,
I
mhm.
did not fit in those at all either. I was like, "Good thing I, like, can sleep like a fetus kinda thing, because these legs were not getting into that berth
No.
there," but, oh
No, no,
god, I
no,
can
no.
only imagine. Yikes. Okay, changing tracks a little bit again. We have talked a little bit about the whole money and time thing. But you've also been able to take care of the money component a little bit by traveling with points and miles.
Thanks to you.
Good to you because you wanted to do it, right? Like,
Yes.
talk about it all I want and tell friends and family, but if people don't want to get into it, it's not going to get them anywhere.
Yes.
What was the kicker for you? Why did you want to start learning how to use points and miles?
You truly, you just really inspired me, and just like talking about how, yeah, you were going on all these trips and like we're only paying a fraction of the cost. I was like, well, I want that.
Yeah.
And yeah, with our relationship too, and just feeling comfortable with chatting with you and everything, I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I talk with her about it?
Aw.
And so yeah, that it's been really nice. I'm not um very intentional about like the points earning. It's just kind of like an added bonus. I just like use my credit card for everything. And then when I want to go on a trip, I'm like, oh, do I have enough points? And like so far for each one I have, every trip I've wanted to go on since doing this points program, I have been able to. So that's been really, really nice.
Awesome. You've done how many trips now on points? Or how many flights, I should say, on points?
Um, so Banff, did points. San Francisco did points. I'm pretty sure I did Italy on points too.
I think you had mentioned that.
Yeah. And our family trip to Vegas and Palm Springs I did as
Wow.
well. So yeah,
Oh my gosh. No way.
I guess I spend a lot of money outside of travel.
That's amazing. Okay. Oh, that makes me so happy that you've done
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah, and I definitely have enough for, like, that little, mini Euro trip that I was mentioning. I definitely have enough for to do that too, so, yeah, I'm set, man. I'm set.
Cool.
Yeah.
For context for listeners, when we're talking about points and miles, we won't get into the nitty gritty here, but the gist is you spend money, you put it on your credit cards, you earn points, and then you redeem your points for flights. And like Kyla said, they're a fraction of the cost. So I think your birthday trip to San Francisco, what was it, like $70 for the return tickets from Toronto?
Yeah, something in and around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's like, I don't know, between, let's say, $7 and $1,100 typically Canadian, so
Yeah.
sweet steal. Nice!
Yes.
Awesome! A+
Yeah.
student over there. What are 2 or 3, or 1 if you just want one, items that you always travel with? What are
Mm.
must-have?
So, definitely my passport. And I check about 37 times before I leave the house to make sure I have it. Do we have time for a quick passport story?
Yeah!
So, luckily, I learned from my sister's mistake of when she was flying out to work on a cruise ship. The whole family, we all loaded up into the van, drove from Midland to Pearson Airport, and she went to check into her flight, and she realized she did not have her passport. And then remembered that she had left it in the scanner because she was taking a copy of it back in Midland, which is a 2-hour drive from. Have you not heard this
I
story?
have not heard this story.
Oh man, it's a legend. Um, and so, long story short, we have a very good family friend who broke into our house with permission, grabbed the passport, and like sped down the 400 to the airport, and got. I think they delayed the flight a little bit for her. So thanks to them for that. But needless to say, we have all learned our lesson from that, and it's just like a running thing in our family. Like, do you have your passport? Do you have your passport? So never travel obviously without my passport. I also love I have a little travel pharmacy because I've had my fair share of little sicknesses on traveling, and it's not fun when you don't have stuff like on hand.
Yeah.
So I've got something for for
For
every
both of
ailment.
you.
And it's nice because it's nice and compact, so it doesn't take up too much space.
Is it one that you made or one that you
Yeah,
purchased?
one that I
You made
made.
it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then, probably my Kobo as well, my little e-reader.
Yeah.
I just love how portable it is, and it really helps to pass time when you're on a long flight or train ride or
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Any safety tips, whether it's as a solo female traveler or just in general traveling? You talked a little bit about not having a bunch of cameras hanging off you and being
Yes.
target that way.
Yes. Definitely that. And then also, something that has always been stressed from my parents is to be aware. Like I just every time before a trip, like my dad will say, be aware of your surroundings. And it's so true. Like you can't be aloof because that's when you get taken advantage of. And so I am always aware, like not having my head in my phone or a book or whatever, just always having, yeah, being aware.
That's good.
Um, yes, exactly. And just like also, especially as a solo female traveler, like I think I'm 5'11", and so I think my stature definitely helps, with in terms of safety. Like, I think I'm maybe less of a target, but I also walk around with a lot of, like, confidence and purpose, and I think that really helps too, and, like, not like, even if you are lost, like, try not to portray that.
Yeah, I think that's such a great piece of advice for people. Look like you know what's up and where you're going, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also helps you get into places that you might not otherwise. But that's a trick learned from Terry, and we're not gonna go there right now.
Ah.
How do you deal with the post-trip blues?
Aw.
Aw.
Uh, I'm typically, like, pretty happy to come home, like, it's just it's such and we talked about this recently, that it always feels so nice to come home, like, yes, it's sad that the trip is coming to an end, but there's so many little, like, creature comforts at home and, like, just the familiarity of everything and not having to be as on high alert, as when you're traveling is just always a relief. But then I really like to reminisce and like, yeah, making my reels and like posting my pictures and stuff. That's a very reflective process and helps me kind of tie a bow on the trip.
Yeah, perfect. Speaking of time bows, we're coming to the end of our chat.
It flew by.
It has flown by.
Yeah.
So as a bonus for the listeners, with all of my guests' help, I have curated a Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go travel playlist for them to listen to
Mm.
on their own trips. So, what is one song that either sums up your travel style or that reminds you of one of your trips, has been like an anthem for one of your trips?
Yeah, I feel like definitely the latter. Like I feel like there are a few different like there are songs that remind me of specific trips. Um one that like really throws me right back to Italy is Piccolo Piccolo by Robertino.
Hey, we're going with the proper Italian song. I love this.
Yeah, yeah, because so leading up to that trip, the Italian trip, like I made a little Italian podcast of like just classic Italian songs.
Yeah.
And then David and I listened to it like while we were in Italy too. And so now that playlist, like whenever I play it, it just like takes me right back and it's so nice.
I love that idea that you made your own playlist of music from the place before traveling there. That's so cool.
I haven't I think that's the only time I've done that for was yeah, for Italy, but I definitely liked it. I've also heard of a tip um uh to listen to a brand new album. It doesn't necessarily have to like tie into the place you're going, but just a new album to you. Listen to it while you're traveling, because then you'll forever associate that album with your trip. And I haven't tried that yet, but I would definitely want to do that.
Yeah. Tying into this a little bit, I don't know why this made me think of this, but you know how you messaged me the other day about Bon Iver's new album drop?
Yes.
I had never really listened to him before Ireland. I had always associated him with you, actually, because
Mm,
you loved him so much.
yes.
Yeah, and then I saw him live there, hated the concert, ironically enough, and that's where I saw the Staves open for the first time and loved them.
Yes. And then introduced me to the
Yeah,
city.
we've got all the circles coming together right
Yes.
now, but every time I hear that now, I think of you and Ireland because it's like
Aw,
the first time association, yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last part of our chat.
Okay.
We're gonna do the speed round. So answer in one word, one sentence, but if you're really gonna sneak in a story, that's okay too.
Okay.
Okay. So where was your last trip?
To Banff, Alberta.
And where's your next trip?
A mini Euro trip. So starting in London, going to Paris, then to Amsterdam.
Perfect. And what is your dream destination?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know. Maybe Norway actually. That yeah, Norway,
Ooh.
because I have some Norwegian roots on my dad's side, and so I think that would be cool. Norway. Let's say
Now I
that.
understand why you guys are all so tall. Would you prefer to see many places or get to know one really well?
These are hard questions.
Mm.
Um, I can't decide.
All right, we're gonna
Both. If I have the time, then sure, get to know a place. But if like right now I only have a little bit of time, then kind of see a number of places.
Yeah. Bougie or budget?
Mm, budget, but with some bougie like extras.
I like that. Ocean or outer space?
Ocean.
Your face on that was like, what kind of question is this? Favorite travel YouTuber, blogger, podcaster, or just content creator in general?
Travel with TMc.
For real though.
When I was planning our trip to Italy, there was a podcaster, or no, sorry, not podcaster. She was on TikTok. Oh shoot, I think Casey. I'm gonna. Can I send it to you later?
Yes, me
Yeah,
too.
she is an American living in Florence. And like she just has really great content. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. Alrighty. Favorite mode of transportation?
Mm, I like a streetcar, really, because or like something above ground where I can like see, or like a train where I can like see scenery as I go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nobody said streetcar before. I love that.
Well, yeah, because then I'm not the one having to drive, so I can actually like pay attention and see, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Makes sense. All right. Planned or spontaneous trips?
the type A in me says planned.
Underpacker or overpacker?
If I had to lean, definitely overpacker, but I've gotten really good at being like an added like appropriate amount packer.
Okay. All right. Most overrated destination?
Mm. I really don't know. Actually, Yonge and Dundas Square in Toronto.
Throwing her own city under the bus.
Specifically Yonge and Dundas Square and like Yonge Street in general. Like I feel like that's where like yeah, the travel places like tell people to go, but don't go there. Don't go there. There's so many better places in the city.
Where's one place you would send somebody in Toronto who hasn't been before?
Um, definitely, like Roncesvalles neighborhood and High Park. Yeah, I actually quick little story.
Yeah.
Met a German woman in Banff, and she told us that she was traveling to Toronto, and so, yeah, that's what I told her. I said, "Yeah, don't do that. Don't go to, like, the main streets."
Yeah. Cool. Like it. Most underrated destination.
I think South America, really, like, no one travels to South America. No one. And it's amazing. It's so friggin' beautiful. Like, oh man. Yeah, just the nature, the culture, the people, everything. South
Yep.
America as a whole, definitely underrated.
Yeah. What home comfort do you miss the most when you're away?
My little cat
I
Trudy.
knew you were gonna say that.
But that's the thing I can't bring with me.
Yep. What's the best piece of travel advice you've ever received?
That life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And
Oh,
so to push yourself to do the things that scare you, kind of tied in with that, like feel the fear and do it anyway. Be okay with a little bit of discomfort because so many opportunities and experiences come from that.
yeah, nailed that on the head. Worst piece of travel advice you've received?
um Worst piece of travel advice. Oh, that Rome is not worth it. That Rome is overrated. I I loved it, and very sadly, I, like, heard, like, a number of people told me that it was overrated, and so I didn't plan too much time there. We only had 24 hours, but I was, like, really sad about that because I really wanted to spend more time after seeing it, so that was definitely the worst advice.
Cool. If you had to choose between house sitting, couch surfing, hostels, Airbnb, or hotels, what's your gut reaction? Where would you go?
Gut reaction, Airbnb.
Okay. Window seat or aisle seat?
Mm, Depends on the length of the flight. If it's a long flight, aisle. If it's shorter than 5 hours, window.
Cool. Describe yourself as a traveler in 3 words.
Adventurous, conscientious, and fun-loving.
So appropriate. Three characteristics that make for a good travel buddy.
Mm. Being able to spend time independently
Hmm.
as well as together. Um, Someone who also can, like, kinda go with the flow, and, like, doesn't get too stressed out when things go awry.
Because they will.
Yep. Um, and yeah, I think it's important to have the same kind of travel goals as well. Like, if you're both looking for adventure or for food or whatever, it's important to have similar goals.
Be on the same page for sure.
Yeah.
What's the best part of traveling?
I think the memories and, like, that, like, you're gonna take those with you for the rest of your life. Like, I had so much fun kind of reflecting, like, for, like, this today, just, like, going through pictures and stuff and just, like, reliving everything, and, like, I'm gonna have that for the rest of my life, so I think the memories.
Very cool. And the worst part of travel?
I think, like, the environmental impact. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah.
Um, I don't know how much this applies for you, but best travel app
Mm, I
or
mean, I cannot travel without my Google Maps, so I will say that.
that's a popular favorite.
Mhm.
I didn't give you a heads up on this one, but do you have a favorite travel book or movie? Or
Mm.
something that's like set somewhere else? It doesn't have to be a travel story per se, but something that's brought you through the pages or the screen somewhere else?
Actually, yeah, I recently read a book by Casey McQuiston called, I think it's called The Pairing. And it's about this queer couple who they like had planned this Euro trip together, but then they broke up, and then a couple years later they end up like both somehow going on this trip anyway. And so
Together?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know if it was like a random they ran into each other deciding separately to do the trip.
So sorry. No, it was random. Like they had to use the trip up or something, and so they were both like, "Oh, fine, I guess I'll go." And then they show up, and then they're both there, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh, I love this.
And so, yeah, it was really fun because they travel through like Italy and France and Spain, and so the author does a really good job at like describing these places. So, yeah, I really like
Cool.
that one.
What did you say the name of it was?
I'm pretty sure it's called The Pairing.
The pairing. Okay. Awesome. And last question. Answer this how you would like. The best gift for a traveler.
The best gift. Currency, money, money in the currency in the currency of the place they're going to. I have received that a couple of times, and it's so nice. It's so
Yeah.
nice, especially for, like, kinda more obscure places than if you're going to, like, the States. It's where you have to, like, take the extra time to, like, get that, like, order it from the bank and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's a great one.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Kaila, this was so nice. I love talking with you so much. We don't do it enough. You just exude such positivity. You're a ray of sunshine. You have such cool insights and interesting stories.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, I love you so much. Thank you for coming on the
Aw, love you
podcast.
too. This was really nice. Thanks for having me. I'm really, really honored that you asked me. So thank you.
Please, you've been on my to talk with list for a long time.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to add before we go? If people want to get a hold of you, you're welcome to share your information or you can remain mysterious.
I'm gonna remain mysterious.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
If that's it, we'll catch you in person hopefully sometime soon.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.